Hi, it's Raylee. I've come for a visit to my parents and found a few quilts that I've quilted in the past or made. So we're doing a bit of a revisit of quilts. We've got two pegged to the gate here at the moment. So if you hear some traffic in the background, it's because there's a road nearby. Yeah. Anyway, let's crack on with these quilts. So this first one here, this blue one, is called Love Within, and it's a 100 days, 100 blocks. It's the kinship pattern from Gnome Angel, and this one was made in 2018. So I made this one for my dad. I used a whole heap of blue scraps, so you can see it grades from light blue through to navy at the bottom, and you can see I've strategically placed some red to create a heart. So it's just a bit of a hidden feature for this particular quilt. So this one is, so 2018, so a few years old now. This is being filmed in 2025. So that is that one. I think the pattern I've quilted on this one is a poppy. So you can see that there, it's a poppy design, quite an open design, but very cute. And I do quite like, this one has a stripy border, binding. Stripy binding is often a great way to go. So I enjoyed using up all of my scraps, and yes, this one is for my dad. On the other side of the gate is the original poppy quilt, or Remember Them, which is a pattern of ours in our shop, and it was made with a layer cake and black fabric on the corners to create that sort of picture card or picture holder corner, and the poppies and the poppy buds. And if I come closer to this one, you'll be able to see, so the original does have Lest We Forget quilted into it. I think I can go there. So there we go. There's Lest all outlined. So that one's obviously done in a grey, which shows up on that darker fabric. And then Lest We, which goes behind the applique. So you can't see it there very easily, but the rest of the words are there. You might just be able to make out the E and the T. And if I come up to this row here, you'll be able to see the F just here, and the O. So Lest We Forget. And the very bottom row has the years 1914, 1918 on the bottom. So that was the year of World War I. So that is the original quilt. I've made a couple since, and I will maybe splice in some photos of the ones that I've made into this little video as well. All right, I'll pause and put up some more quilts. So these quilts are not ones that I have made, but I did quilt them, and they have been sitting in Mum's sewing room waiting to be bound, or finished. So I have had a bit of a binding fest while I've been here, and I have bound about 6 or 7 quilts, finished the binding on 6 or 7 quilts, and I have done the binding completely on 4. So it's been a bit of sewing fun. Alrighty, so this is, you can see lots of New Zealand inspired fabric here, and this was made, I think there's one that's made with leftovers from this particular quilt. So lots of iconic New Zealand things, probably from the time that our family lived in New Zealand for a couple of years, and one of our children was born there. So this particular one is the Pahutakawa, which is the Christmas tree, which appears around December. So they're very, it's a beautiful tree when it comes out in flower. Leaves, power shells, cows, I I can't think of the name of that bird. Someone tell me in the comments. The grasses and the eastern water hen, or and I can't think of the name of that either in Māori. Anyway, on to the quilting. This one is quilted in red thread, and this particular design is called scallop grass, which I thought was quite appropriate. And the binding was on, and I have just completed it. So that's that one. Let's move over to the other side of the gate. This quilt is a swap. And so again, this is one that I did not make, but I did quilt, and I've just completed the binding for Mum. The squares are actually from, let me find one that'll have a date on it, 1998. So this quilt is actually quite a few years old, and it was a swap. So you can see there's lots of different feature blocks, like signature blocks, and they've all been put together in a very cool design, and it's now finished and ready to be used. All right, let's get on with some more quilts. We have another couple of quilts. These are a bit smaller, and let's start with this one. This is the one made with leftovers from the other quilt with the New Zealand inspired fabric. So I did quilt this one a while ago. This one I think is called Waterworld. The quilting design is Waterworld, and it's just, is it quilted in blue? I believe it is. Yes, it is quilted in blue, and we've just finished off the binding. So it was on again. I've just had a bit of a day of finishing the binding. So these quilts are now, complete and ready to be used. Quite simple, but lovely what you can do with feature fabric. Let's come over to this one. This one is a whole heap of, I don't know whether it was like layer cakes or a charm square. Could have been something like that. They all sort of go together. It's quite scrappy, but I guess because there's repeats of each one, then it works. So this one is quilted also in, it's got a fleur-de-lis pattern. If you can see that right in the center of the screen there, with some curls underneath. I am trying to remember the name of this pattern and I can't, but it has that fleur-de-lis that goes in both directions. So you can see that one goes up and this one here points down. Binding was again already on, just finished binding in red, a bit partial to red. So this one is also now ready to go. Color wise, this one was quilted in a dark biscuit color. Just let that focus. There we go. Cool. All right, let's swap out some more quilts. Mum has had a whole heap of fun using up scraps and leftovers, cabbage if you want to call it that, and which is just leftover fabric from a different project. So she has put these together. I think this one is a while ago. I think I quilted this one quite a few years ago. Very simply done, and I finished the binding off today or yesterday. Now let's have a look at the quilting. So the quilting is quite simple in this square, and these loops that go in these ones, so it alternates around. So you get that difference in texture as you work your way around the quilt. So two fairly simple designs. There's actually a really good, so yeah, just bouncing from corner to corner with the little swirl in there as well, and the loops. And this one is just bound in that, a nice biscuit colour. I think the quilting, we can get focus, is in, yeah, again a bit of a biscuit beige colour, but a fairly rich colour which goes with all the fabrics that are in this quilt. My camera's deciding it's going to challenge itself by focusing. Hopefully I don't lose too much light. I've got a couple more quilts to show you. All right, let's come over to the other side of the fence. I am at my parents' property, so it's a good country setting for you. All right, this quilt has been done as the quilt as you go method, and yeah, we just put the binding on it. There was some red binding on it, but it was a little bit tight. I think probably trying to use up some fabric, and it was just a little bit hard to do, so we replaced it completely with a blue, a mottled blue. And yeah, so strips of fabric. So this one, you know, you make each of the blocks and then join them together. So there's a cover strip over the joins, and this one has been done to create those diamond squares. So no extra quilting on this one, it's just literally quilt as you go. All different size strips as well, which makes it a lot of fun. Great way to use up leftovers. Okay, and the last two quilts, so in between the pauses I'm swapping out quilts and draping another couple over the gates. These last two quilts are also swaps, I guess you could say, where you make a whole heap of signature blocks or a particular block, and you send the same one to a lot of other people and they send you back something. The same design, but in their fabrics, their chosen fabrics. And so this one here is a signature block, again similar to the other one, possibly done at the same time, in that there's, oh no, that one was blue, this year was yellow, and so you can see there are so many different yellow fabrics that have come back and have been put together quite simply as just alternating squares. If you see at the bottom of your screen, the one with the ivy, that one is mine. And this was probably done not long after I got married, and ivy was part of my wedding bouquet. Let me see if I can find a date on this one. Oh, this one is 1999. So again, this one is 25 plus years old, and the binding has just been completed. The quilting design on this one is called Popcorn, and I think I've quilted it in yellow. Let's come in again and have a look. Yes, it's actually quilted in a bright yellow, which is interesting because you can see that up close, but you don't see that from a distance. So it's a really good one to show that even if you choose a bright thread, it's not going to show up as much as you think. Yeah, so just keep that in mind when you're quilting, or when you're choosing threads with your long armor, that a bright thread won't necessarily show up as much as you think. So we've finished the binding on this one. It's done in a yellow spot, and so this was one of the ones that I did fully from scratch. So we've put the binding on and finished it. As I did say, I've had a really good binding. So this one I think I'm going to put on my bed tonight as an extra layer, because it's a bit chilly here at night. Alright, you can probably see by the footage that we're losing light. Let me just scroll over this way for you, and you can see I've got sunset happening over the hills, but it's very pretty. Alright, let's get on with this last quilt. It is a churn dash quilt, and you just needed a blue and a neutral, or something like that, I think was the request. So this one, let's see if there's a date on this one. It was a swap. I'm just going to go in a bit. I know my mum's put in extra detail. I'm just trying to find a date. I think it's much the same as some of the others. It's around that era, so it's probably around 2000, early 2000s. And it is now done. We did go down to the local shop because we did not have any binding fabric that would match, and it's just in a patterned blue to match. Yeah, so this is what I've been up to while I've been visiting Mum. That one there is mine, made many years ago. I do not know what this quilting design is. I did not do this one. I think that was done by someone. This was done prior to me having my long arm machine. So, and you can see we just lost another bit of light because that's actually navy, not black. Alrighty, I have one more quilt to bind. before I head off, so that's going to be tonight's project, and I will take some photos as well. So I'll give you a bit of a view of the paddock, the beautiful colour over there. Probably flares a bit in the thing. It's quite nice living in the country for a little bit. Happy quilting, everyone. And this is the final quilt with the binding now complete. So this one is also a signature square swap, just a different layout. So this one's had the coloured fabric that came with the block has been cut and done as a square and a square. In this way you do lose the points of your square when you put them together, because you have to cut it a bit smaller, but that's okay. And use the just a different setting. It is on point, and I also did the quilting on this one. It's in the popcorn pattern again, also in bright yellow, which you can see there on the navy, and we've just finished the binding in this bright blue, which really pulls in to some of the blues that are already in the blocks, and you can see there's some bright ones up the top there as well. So this one is now complete. I've had a lot of fun binding and finishing all these for Mum, so then now they can be used. Happy quilting, anyone.